welcome to our fourth Dev Dialogue. Today we have a very special guest and a very inspiring guest, Bereket Engida. Bereket, can you hear me?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So let's start. Okay, so let's start with the first question. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So, Bereket Palalo. I'm the creator of Better Auth. It's a authentication framework for TypeScript. It's semi-popular right now. And I'm also the creator of a web analytics platform called Loglib. It's also an open source, privacy first web analytics platform. Uh, I'm a software developer. I've been working on like TypeScript, JavaScript ecosystem for almost the past 3 years. I used to be a musician before that. Uh, I still do music, but I used to be actually a musician. Um, yeah, I'm a developer. I had a full-time job because of it, but now I'm full-time working on Better Auth. Uh, yeah, that's like me. I'm also a dropout, maybe.
Uh, that's interesting. So a musician, a dropout, and a software developer. Very interesting
Yeah,
combination. How did you get into software development?
yeah, good question. Yeah, so basically, I think about like almost 3 years ago, I had an idea for a product. So product, I don't know, there's a product called Gebeya Search. So the idea was there is like a bunch of Telegram groups all over like Telegram like that you can like buy in the sale products. I'm not sure to like all so like it was very booming and but I'm and I was trying to like buy an item. It was actually like a music item. Like there are like a bunch of like music channels that sell this kind of items, but I wasn't able to find the item because I didn't know like the channel names. So I was like, I had this idea. What if there is a way to search like for these items and like it can display me like here coding Telegram channel like you can go to like one place one. So for example, if you need a shoes, you can just search for shoes and it will display you like kaya and channel. Yeah, shoes with their price naman like that. So you can compare, choose and buy. So that was the idea. Uh, so I had that idea, but like I'm rushed on it, but I'm the idea, myself. And now like I thought like it's gonna be like very big thing when I'm like then yeah, I didn't know how to like do program or anything. Like I had interaction with computer because even at that time I was doing music, so I would produce music computer like when I'm like but I have no idea like about programming. I mean, I have like know-how because at that time I was also taking sales, computer science and network, so I had an idea, a sort of a plan at that point, and like when programming. Can I wasn't that familiar anyway. So I had asked this friend like to make me if she's interested on making this application, and I think she went to US probably. Ariam, you do know her. Then after she went to US, I started working on like just لما ሞክር ጀመርኩኝ programming ማለት ነው ይሄን application ለመስራት yes, and I found out like there is a Python library called Pyrogram that would like let you use like a Telegram API. So I started like trying to understand the documentation. So I think yeah, ከሶስት ወር ከአራት ወር በኋላ I actually made the platform and it was just, like properly working ምናምን ነገር like from zero to actually more. Then like at that point I don't know like much about programming. All I cared about was making this stick and I made it. Yeah, then it had like some moments. Uh, that's like how I started programming.
So was this your first programming experience?
Yeah, I mean, I knew like how HTML and CSS went down, but like because of class, because the chicken
Mm.
magon like
Wow, that's really cool. What are you currently working on?
So I'm currently working on Better Auth. If you guys know, it's a authentication framework. So basically, application actually auth implement ማድረግ ከፈለጋችሁ authentication, you would use this library. This also was created because I had a problem with ከነበሩት open source libraries. Like it wasn't a good experience. Maybe if you guys know, like have used like library this ecosystem like next auth, like auth.js or passport ሉሻ auth ነው የሚባሉ ነበሩ። ግን they weren't good, like አሪፍ አልነበሩም ኤክስፒሪንሳቸው። and I noticed like በጣም የብዙ ሰው ኤክስፒሪንስ እንደነበረ ትዊተር ላይ ምናምን ነገር. So I was like someone has to solve this. I waited like some time until someone like solve እስኪያደርገው, and no one was like working on it, and I was like this is very obvious problem to solve. So I started working on it. It took me like about 5 months to actually finish it because I had also another full-time job at this time. Um, but like I finished it, and tutorial like I put in, it went viral. And people started like using it, and we have like a huge community Discord. Like we have about like 5.6 case stars on GitHub, and yeah, I'm full time working on it. Um, yeah, and we have like a bunch of future plans. So this like I'm working on beta right now.
So you kind of are able to observe like problems around you and solve them. Like, is that like a kind of skill you developed? Like, was music part of it?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, that's a good observation. As you mentioned, like the whole, let me say, like when I first like Gebeya Solutions, there is a lot of missing like malak jobs, programming concepts, even like basic things that I didn't know. All I cared about was making something and like solving problems. So yeah, I would say like I really noticed like problems at the Gebeya, not like trying to solve them. And also I noticed like just even it's helpful. Like I always think there are a lot of people who are solving problems, but there aren't much people who are actually working on problems. Probably like many people think يعني كان يتشال سؤال كان يجيب سؤال بس problem ላይ ይሰራል. I think we all notice like problems, but we all think there is someone better that should be working on this. For example, when I started to work on Better Auth, the Auth framework, I wasn't familiar with authentication. It's kind of like a bit complicated for me. All I knew was like, you know, I was just working like front-end developer and got it. Like I didn't know that much about يعني ስለ authentication ምናምን ስለ security ምናምን ማውቀው ነገር አልነበረም. And I'm not even interested like in ስለ security ምናምን ነገር was not my interest. But I just saw like this is like huge problem that can be solved, and if solved, it could open a lot of doors for me, and it could also solve like a lot of other people's problem. So like I waited some time to actually like see if other people who are better than me on this topic to actually solve it. But there are many people that are solving even like internationally like ይሄን ያህል issue ማለት ነው. So yep. So if just as like, a suggestion, there are problems that are being not being solved, and we all notice them. But sometimes I think it's not like my special thing that I notice problems, but it's just I think like I could solve them kind of thing. Even though like I didn't know much about them, if I actually learn it during that time post, they'll be solved. So again, that's not also like my specialty. It's also like someone need to take the initiative. If you take the initiative, you can't just do things.
I'm definitely gonna be writing that. If you take the initiative, then you can do the things. Yeah, I'm gonna be writing that down. Um, so how did you get into coding? Like, did you start program? How did you start programming?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like I had this problem get developed. Then the first thing I did was like I started just CS15 يلا yeah. I think Harvard CS15 like መጀመሪያ እሱ ማወቅ እንዳለብኝ ገባኝ. I need to understand at least how computer work and how programming works. I remember like watching like the whole lecture ሙሉውን ያህል ደቂቃ, and like I understand like የሆነ ያህል እንዴት እንደሆነ ነገሮች, then I was still very much lost. Uh, Then I think I saw some guy, just some video pop up on my feed. Search I must say get, yeah, and how to fetch የቴሌግራም ሜምበሮችን ፓይተንን በመጠቀም የሚል ቪዲዮ መጣልኝ. And I was like, then I just watched the video. I didn't understand anything, but the guy actually fetched uh, a member from a Telegram group, members from Telegram groups, and and I think he was trying to add them to another group. So there was a loophole Telegram ላይ ያን ጊዜ ከሆነ የሆነ እናንተ ጆይን ያደረጋችሁት ግሩፕ ካለ የዛን ግሩፕ ያሉት ሜምበሮች ፌች አድርጋችሁ you could have added them like to another group. So ጆይን ሲያደርጉ እናንተ ጆይን ማድረግ ትችሉ ነበር ፕሮግራሚንግ ነው። So ቴሌግራም API አለው ያደርግ ነበር. I saw this and I was like, if Telegram API allows this, it's probably like viable postoቹን like ፌች ማድረግ እንደሚቻለው ማለት. So if Telegram allows like fetching actual people's, obviously it will be possible to actually fetch the posts የሚለው አይዲያ አይምሮ ይስመጣ. So I started looking at the እንትን የሰዎች ሲጠቀም የነበረው ነገር, and I remember watching የአንድ ሰዓት ፓይተን ቪዲዮ. At this point I had like idea of if block like basic programming variable ምናምን because I was also taking CS at this point, so I had like basic concept of programming, but like, I don't know any programming language. I started learning Python, so like on this video just I get the idea of like how if block works, how like just variable working Python. Then I started just trying to read the programming library documentation. It was very complicated. Like you met Allo on a Ballo was like, what's this Jewish? It was like kind of really then I didn't care about learning Python. And as actually like a good advice, like always less host taking how to learn programming was host taking, because like I think like I like total time real yes a good way to learn anything quickly is to make something. Because if you're trying to make something, it makes everything very narrower. So if I was trying to learn Python, አንዳመት በአንዳመት ቢወስድ ራሱ አልማረውም ነበር because it's too vast. learn Python like learn Python የሚባለው ነገር ለማድረግ like it's too like I still work on JavaScript, but there are a lot of things I don't know. I still don't know about JavaScript. So you cannot just like learn everything about a language, because once it will overwhelm you. Plus, I just too wide of an arrow to actually too wide of a scope to actually like do anything with it. So if you have a project idea, ይሄን ነገር ሰራችሁ now we will know everything. So like my idea was I'm gonna make it with this platform, and I'm only gonna learn whatever I need for this platform. Like I didn't care about learning Python because again my idea wasn't to be a programmer. I was actually at this point just looking to become a musician. I had like big plans about music. But that didn't happen, unfortunately. At this point, I was planning to do music. So all my idea was like, I'm gonna make this thing, and I'm just gonna learn specific things I need for this. So Python bro, it wasn't to learn Python, but specifically to make this thing. So ለዛት ቶሎ ተማርኩት እና ማለት ቶሎ ተማርኩት ሲሆን it took some time to even grasp some little pieces, but once I started grasping things, it start making sense and start having some kind of structure. So once I remember like I made a script per ሰሩት like script ማድረጊያው ማለት ስክሪፕቷን ጻፍኳትና ያመጣልኝ ጀመር ፖስቶቹ ከመጣልኝ በኋላ ፖስቶቹ ሲመጡ like just text ነው። ለምሳሌ የሆነ ጫማ ፖስት ከሆነ you'll see like the whole አንድ ቴክስት ብሎግ ደግሞ ሁሉም ቻናሎች የተለያየ አድርገው የሚጽፉት እና የኔ አይዲያ የሚሉት ምንድነው ያን ቴክስት ወስጄ I need to parse ፕራይሱም እንደሆነ then maybe የሚሸጡት እቃም እንደሆነ ኢሜጆቹ ማግኘት አለብኝ ምናምን ነገር። So I remember if you guys know regex የሚባል ነገር, so there is regex like text like parse ማድረጊያ ማለት ነው without actually like writing a lot of code. You can just use regex too much patterns and or then you can get price ምናምን ነገር. So regex የሚባል ነገር አለ የሚል ነገር አየሁ እንትን ላይ ሰርች ሳደርግ Then I went to the regex website, and it's very complicated. Like it's not complicated, but like it's kind of like like understand ለማድረግ it's a bit hard. I remember like ለሳምንት 2 ሳምንት መጣና ገብቼ አነበዋለሁ። አይገባኝ ግራስፕ አደረግና መልሼ ይጠፋብኛል። ግራስፕ አደረግና ይጠፋብኛል። Then I could have just searched price ፓርስ ማድረጊያ regex ብዬ ሰርች አድርጌ ማግኘት እንደምችል ማለት ነው። I was actually trying to understand regex like በስትክክል and I was wasting time, but I remember like searching የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ እስቲ ካለና ብዬ ፕራይስ regex ሲል ፖፕ አፕ መጣ ወዲያው ማለት ነው። And I was like very impressed. ከዛ ያንን ነው I remember Stack Overflow መጀመሪያ ጊዜ አየሁት። So Stack Overflow ነበር like you can just use this regex and you can get price, and I was, dude, if this is possible, I'm just gonna like search everything, like copy እና ፔስት ማድረግ ራሱ ገባኝ። ግን anyway በሱ I started like parsing products ምናምን ነገር ማግኘት ጀመርኩ። ከዛ I needed to make a website ለፕሮዳክቱ ማለት ነው። then I saw there's a thing called Django Python ላይ so Django ለመማር ሞከርኩ። it was very complicated because again ይህንን ነገር በሰራም still the amount of things I understand about Python wasn't that much, so it was very complicated for me to understand Django. But የሆነ ቢሴን ፒስ አግኝቼ የሆነ ለመስራት ሞከርኩ። ሰራው ግን ስቲል አያምርም ነበር ዌብሳይቱ። if you have used like Django ምናምን መጠቀም that's a bit hard. I mean, even though they can just make it look cool with the CSS and stuff, it didn't feel like any አሪፍ ነገር እና ደግሞ it was like too complicated for me to actually እንትን ለማድረግ. And I heard a thing called Next.js. So I shot የሆነ ቪዲዮ አየሁ Next.js ተጠቀሙ ምናምን። Then I learned Next.js, and then I saw a tool called Figma that let you design stuff. So I went there and I designed the website through Figma and converted with the Next.js model. So that's like how my programming journey started. And after that, I maybe like just timeline ለመናገር since it's just only 2 years. After like Gebeya Solutions, like I got a job because of Gebeya Solutions. የሆነ ሰውዬ ቦት ስራልኝ አለኝ፣ የቴሌግራም ቦት። I remember የቴሌግራም ቦት ስራልኝ ሲለኝ even though I made a Gebeya Solutions, I didn't understand how bots work. Again, I didn't care about like learning how to make bots. All I cared about is how to use the Python API to fetch products. But both sራልኝ ሲለኝ I was like, I wasn't very confident like I know how to make bots, but I mean I didn't know how to make bots at that point. I took the project. You guys may even know them, like Awaki Ethiopian campaign. So the guy who's like just managing me was, I knew him through friends. So he offered me a job like to make the boat. I actually made the boat like by learning how to make a boat ከሰጠኝ በኋላ ስለሆነ yeah, then that's like because I think አንድ ፕሮጀክት ነበረ. Then based on that project he hired me. Like I got hired. I had a job with programming በ6 ወር ውስጥ ምናምን ነገር ከተማርኩበት ጀምሬ ስራ መጀመሪያ እስካገኘሁ ማለት ነው። ግን like the reason that like was fast was because I made something and like the guy was impressed, like did you make this ምናምን ነገር? አዎ ምናምን like simple something. And like um, if you actually build something, it's easier for people to convince them to hire you, or like to have opportunities for something. So because I made something, like it was easy for him to hire me, and like that was the reason like I got my first job. Like ገበያ ሰዎችን ሰራው። ትምህርት የለኝም በሰዓት ምንም የሚሰሩት ነገር የለም። the amount of things I know about programming is like ቢጠይቀኝ ሲሆን ነገር maybe like I may not answer like ያን ያህል ግን I have something to show, so I can learn anything fast. So because ያ ሜንታሊቲ ነበረኝ I could have like I got a job fairly faster than like most people would do. Like, and the reason was because I built something. So like, I would suggest for anyone who's trying to get a job, or like who's trying to advance their career, to make something, to build stuff. Yep.
That's really
I think you muted.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sorry. Um, where was I? I forgot my train of thought. So when you started this journey, you began building things. Like you made something, and that led to having a job. And through this, you taught yourself all these skills. And what motivated you to keep on going? Like to not get distracted, to believe in yourself. How are you able to make it all possible?
Yeah, I think one of those elements would be one, like I had this idea and I wanted to make it like I wanted to see ለምሳሌ ሰሪቸው ማየት ስለፈለኩኝ like that's one of the driving factors. So I had this idea in my mind and came used to like I want to see like happen አድርጎ ማየት like that drive is definitely one of the components. Another drive, I would say like being impressive. Okay, there wasn't much people that were impressed by anything, but like at that point, like the idea of being impressive was kind of something that also drove me. I think so. Like I think like absolute like doing something impressive is driving me rather than, for example, if you gave me, if you try to make me like any programming somewhat, let me try to make let me just simple let's say a to-do list app just to learn programming. I'm telling you, like I wouldn't have made it because it was like purpose. It doesn't have like that much purpose, and like programming is hard like to learn. Like I mean, it's not that hard, but it's kind of hard. Like it requires some kind of persistence. So remember that Max on that like computer ክልነት ጀምሮ like program ያደኩ ይችላል. I was like only interested in making music. It wasn't like my interest to be programmer or whatever. Uh, Computer science just computer science. I remember I was about to go to do marketing and I was like, marketing fees like at least computer science ላይ የሆነ ነገር ላገኝ እችላለሁ ብዬ ነው computer science የገባሁት. And I was actually learning computer science extension. It wasn't even regular. Um, so it wasn't something like that was like big in my life to actually learn programming. Um, so the only drive I had at that point was to actually make something happen. So I felt like it was what drives me to make some things, and it's what drives me like, to keep learning stuff, to keep improving, and to keep building. So even like what I'm working on now, Better Auth was made because I wanted to build something, and learning Better Auth memoir was hard for me, like to understand how to make library, how to maintain library, even like, and also like it's not like a minor undertaking, like library ሰርቶ የማያውቅ ሰው ተነስቶ like authentication በጃቫስክሪፕት ፊክስ አደርጋለሁ ምናምን ማለት was a huge undertaking for me. But the belief I had was like if you actually put some like if you actually put some work and if you took the time, you can actually like I don't have to be special, I don't have to be I want you to like not to think that like whatever I did is scoundrels. It wasn't because I was special or I grew up like knowing about coding or whatever. It was just because I was curious and I wanted to make it happen. So I think that and being impressive is kind of a good factor, even though it's not commenting. But I think I'm right to like there is a part in all of us that being impressive is kind of matters. I don't know for whomever or whatever. Yeah, so those things I think are what drives me.
So, what was your most rewarding experience as a programmer so far?
Yeah, good question. Since I really like Better Auth ምናምን አሁን ያለውን a bunch of አሪፍ like ሩቅ የሚመስሉ ሰዎች so I get to meet them. I mean, like online, I get to meet them. Now they follow me on Twitter and we chat and like that. So that was like very rewarding for me. Yeah, even like them being impressed by whatever I did was like crazy. So for example, like one big person, I was like, I very much admire. If you guys use Versal in Balloon platform or next use Versal in the corner, the Versal CEO contacted me and just congratulated me about like Better Road. and we chatted about like with our like about it, and like that was like like, very big moment for me because he was someone like I was very admiring. Um, yeah, I think those moments like where I was ከኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ምናምን ውጭ ራሱ ላይ somewhere like በጣም ሩቅ የሚመስሉ ሰዎች being admired ደግሞ was like the እስካሁን ፒቮቴ like kind of like a big achievement. Also, if you guys know YC የሚባለውን Y Combinator, so I had like ለዚህኛው ባች 2005 አለ ጀነራል የመጀመር ባች ለሱ I was interviewed, so I didn't pass, but even like getting the interview is very hard. So I was interviewed, so like that was also a big moment, like a very rewarding moment for me up to now.
I like the up to now part, that there is still more to come in the
Of
future.
course, yeah,
So Better Auth is, I think, an open source project, right?
yeah,
What led you to make it open source?
yeah. So before Better, there is a project called Loglib, so it's also an open source project, which is a web analytics platform. So like on both of them, the reason, like the main reason, like Better has to be open source uh, to kind of like, since it's a library, it probably makes sense to make it open source because people will contribute to now, like issue እንዲከፈት ምናምን ነገር, you probably need to make it. It's kind of a must. But even before that, like Loglib ለምሳሌ, it doesn't have to be open source, just web analytics platform, but it was also open source. I believe in open source and also contribute to other open source projects. Um, like ከምሰራ ውጪ ሌላ ፕሮጀክት ላይ contribute አደርጋለሁ. Like it's like this the vibe of like community, and it's easier to show. ለምሳሌ like ከዚህ ቤተሰብ ከመስራቴ በፊት ከስራ ከማቆሜ በፊት አሁን I had like a job, a full-time job, and it was a remote job, like which ነገር. So the reason I got the job was because of Loglib. It's an open source project, and I didn't go to like, they have like a huge interview process ምናምን ነገር. I didn't go to interview. Like ምንም የጠየቁት ነገር የለም, like የወሰድኩት ምን ቴስት የለም, ምንም ያልኩት ነገር የለም. The guy showed the guy like asking me like, did you make this? Yeah, I can make this. And he went there and checked like, yeah, open source የሰራሁትን ፕሮጀክት ነው like ኮሚቴዎችን አየው የሰራሁትን, since it's open source you can see my code, and he was like, yeah, just, whenever you want to start መጀመር እንደምችል ማለት ነው. So that happened because like ፕሮጀክቱ open source ስለነበረ እና ሰውየው actually ኢንቮልቭ ማድረግ የሚችልበት የሆነ way ስላለው ነው. Like it wasn't required to actually for like to check like any ability one, because there's like some open source contribution የሚመለከቷቸው also ደግሞ እስካሁን የሚሰሯቸው ስራዎች ስለነበሩ ማለት ነው. So I would say that's a good reason to make things open source, because you can show your ስራ በቀላሉ. Plus there is like a feeling of community open source ላይ. So I mean, it's kind of hard like to actually like መታወቅ ምናምን open source ላይ like without making your own project. But even like contribute ማድረግ ምናምን ነገር, you will learn a lot of things out of contributing to. So if you make open source, it would make it easier for people to check, and you can also create this community thing. So like for example, Better Auth like huge community, Discord ላይ Reddit ላይ ምናምን ነገር, and Twitter ላይ. The reason that came because it's because like it's an open source project, and people feel like they are in some kind of community and in some kind of አንድ ግሩፕ ውስጥ ሆነው የሆነ ነገር ኮንትሪቢዩት እያደረጉ መሰማት ስላለ like you can create those kind of vibes through open source.
Wow. So for the open source and for all your projects, like what kind of technologies are you using? Is there, like, so you mentioned Next.js, Python, there was Figma. So what kind of tech stacks or technology do you use?
Yep. I once talked about like technology ሲባል I mainly use like TypeScript and now TypeScript, and if I make a Next.js currently. um yeah, I don't use like TypeScript and JavaScript technology currently. Also, I know like you only have experience with Swift, and also like challenge rest ምናምን ነገር ግን like the reason like uh some people ask like what tech I use or like what technologies I do what ለምሰራበት ነገር ለምን because people like even Twitter ላይ የሆነ ሰው ፖስት ሲያደርግ ምናምን ነገር ይህን ስታክ ነው የምጠቀመው ምናምን ሲባል ብዙ ጊዜ ቫይራል ይወጣል እና the reason is like people actually think like best hack የሚባል ኮንሰፕት ነው like you shouldn't think in stack just as advice uh, it's good like to actually like know some technologies like I'm still like a big proponent of like learning TypeScript, learning JavaScript is like a big part of my journey, and I still recommend it for most people. Uh, but for example, የሆነ ስራ መስራት ፈልጌ የሆነ ነገር ቢልድ ማድረግ ፈልጌ if I'm required to learn I don't know assembly or C ምናምን ነገር I would still learn and I would still use those tools for myself. Like the reason like I'm not using anything like Swift, Trust or whatever is because የምሰራው ነገር እስካሁን like ለነሱ ሪኩዌር ስለማያደርግ ወይም ደግሞ like it doesn't make sense for me to use them and that's why I'm not even like actively learning them because if I don't use them there's no point ያን ያለ እኔ መማር ማለት ነው so even though like ያን ያለ መማር ሞክርም ያን ያህል like until now I didn't find anything that I can do with them but like when you choose stock when you choose whatever you want to do with like these technologies just choose what's optimal for what you want to do like የሆነ ነገር እሰራለሁ like don't try to be like this የሆነ አይደለም የሆነ ካምፕ ውስጥ ያለ ምናምን ነገር it doesn't matter what language you use or what technologies you use like, in general scheme of things what matters is does this makes like መስራት የፈለጉትን ነገር more viable ያደርገዋል ወይ time wise እና ደግሞ የምትችሉት ነገር ለምሳሌ like one of the like good part of TypeScript JavaScript is that you can it's like very versatile you can use it for make websites make applications make desktop applications and so on so like try to learn these like general የሚያደርጉ languages like TypeScript and Python. Um, but yeah, whatever you think is good for you, like you should think in terms of projects rather than in terms of making the language work. So for your project, you should think choosing the language or choosing whatever technology is required to make happen your project as fast as you can and as good as you can.
So if you have like the particular tech stack, let's say I want to learn like JavaScript and I like saw a YouTube video, then I try to implement it and halfway I get stuck. What do you usually do in that situation?
Yes. So stuck some drama.
Yeah, I mean, being self-taught, that's like the hardest part of it all. You're kind of ለብቻ ነህ በብዙ ነገሮቹ ላይ so አሁን
Yeah.
ChatGPT አለ yeah like you look it up ግን I think there are maybe I don't know better
Yeah.
ways since አንተ እንትን ከምትለው what do you recommend?
Yeah, actually, I remember like Gebeya Solutions like there was no chat GPT, unfortunately. So you want Telegram group like there was I don't exactly remember the problem, but there was this problem like I couldn't solve it. It's not even like a problem. I could not even like wrap my head around the problem to actually solve it. It was something silly, but at that point it was like too difficult for me to actually wrap my head around the problem to even search ለማድረግ ነው ለሰው ዲስክራይብ ለማድረግ ራሱ I didn't understand like the underlying things to actually የሆነ ለመናገር but yeah one of the like የሆነ I keep coming back to it and at some point የሆነ ፕሮብለም ሲገጥማችሁ don't run away from it ለምሳሌ አሁን like better ስንሰራ like there was like a lot of points where I was stuck and I was like yeah I don't know and even with ChatGPT I was still stuck like ChatGPT is not that ከሆነ ዶሜን በኋላ it's still not that good so there are moments where like I still get stuck ማድረግ but even post ChatGPT but before that I'm like I think just don't run away from the problem like keep coming back to it ዛሬ ግራ ገብታችሁ ሆነች ለማድረግ ሞክሩ then come tomorrow and just try to understand what exactly this ምናምን የሚለውን recently, I think the last couple of days, I was just suddenly interested in physics, and now I was trying to understand like how quantum mechanics work. So it's out of nowhere. Like I don't even understand like ብዙ ቤዚክ ነገሮች ግን አንድ ኢንተረስት ብቻ anyway like it was hard for me in like የመጀመሪያ ሰው ለማድረግ then I keep coming back to it የሆነ ነገም ከነገ ወዲያ ምናምን like ዝም ብሎ couple videos make ማለት ከሆነ ሰዓት በኋላ actually understand it and I was like dude now I understand actually how content like I mean I didn't like fully understand it but like I have still like I can follow up the videos የሆነ አንድ ቪዲዮ ከፍት select on them I actually know like የሆነ topic ማለት ነው so even when things make sense የሆነ ፒሶች የሆነ ሳለ ነው like they start to make sense የሆነ በደንብ አንድ ይሄን ስትየው ማለት ነው they start to make sense የሆነ they start making a story so just keep coming back to the problem, keep coming back and trying to solve, trying to see videos, trying to see another video, and again. Don't run away from the problem. If you just keep coming back to it, you understand it at some point. And most things that are built, like even the computers you're using, the phone, the whatever, the browser, are built by people that are not smarter than you. Like they're probably as smart as you. Like they're not that smart, including me. So they just like was persistent or had some kind of way to easily understand some concept because of like up so if you just keep coming back to the problem and that's what I still do you understand it eventually.
About the quantum mechanics, you will one day explain it to me because I'm still confused. So is curiosity like a skill for you? I mean, I think you practice it almost every single day. Like you're curious about everything. So what's your advice for curiosity?
Yeah, there are you might not think like ብዙ ፕሮብለም ሶልቭ የተደረገ ነገር ሊመስላችሁ ይችል ይሆናል but if you just የሆነ እናንተን ቦዘር የሚያደርጋችሁ ነገር you don't even have to be curious about ከእናንተ ውጭ ያለ ነገር if you're just curious about your problems like that day የሚያጋጥማቸው there are a lot of things to be solved like, there are a lot of problems በየቀኑ የሚያጋጥመን በየቀኑ የምንሄድበት ምናምን ነገር that feels like maybe we shouldn't be solving them but maybe you should be solving them maybe like you're the one that is going to save us from a problem so just keep being curious about problems like just not even just keep like trying to see what problems you have in your life what problems what things bother you like the day-to-day life like well so when I started working on the like Gebeya search I just noticed I wanted to buy it was a MIDI keyboard yeah ሙዚቃ የሚጫወቻ keyboard so እሱን ሰርች ለማድረግ ስፈልግ ቴሌግራም ላይ it was impossible like ቴሌግራም ሰርች አያስደርግም it wasn't made to be like e-commerce ደግሞ እኛን e-commerce ያደረገው ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ like if you just even notice ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ e-commerce የለም so you might think yeah maybe I'm not the person who should be working on e-commerce but maybe you are like ሰዎች መቆሎ እንትን ብሏችኋል like maybe like you're different maybe you have a different way of looking at this problem um or I mean I'm not saying like just start working on e-commerce but there are a lot of problems even Ethiopia still too even outside of Ethiopia like as it still baffles me that there was no one who was working on authentication can you like አሪፍ ለማድረግ JavaScript so the reason whatever like success it got አሁን ያለው it was because there was no another person there was no another like solution that was አሪፍ ነበር if there was like another solution አሪፍ ነበር but it would probably be irrelevant but even በጣም huge question ነው JavaScript like there are a lot of people like companies ፈንድ የተደረጉ ምናምን ነገር ይሰሩ ያሉ but still no one tried to actually solve any problem and I just noticed this like any ሌላ ፕሮጀክት ሰራ I was very frustrated about this problem but just be curious about day to day ላይ እናንተን ምንድነው ቦዘር የሚያደርገኝ ምንድነው የሚያው ፕሮብለም የሚለኝ because if you have a problem it will be easier to so የራሴን ፕሮብለም ሶልቭ ሳደርግ it's very easy than የሆነ imaginary person problem solve ለማድረግ ማለት because there are a lot of things you miss የሆነ ሰውን ፕሮብለም ሶልቭ ስታደርጉ የእናንተ ፕሮብለም ከሆነ ግን you understand the problem and as human beings we're not that different so if you solve your problem there are a lot of other people who have the same problem as you so you're solving a lot of people's problem so just keep looking out for problems in your life in your day-to-day life and in surrounding so yeah that's what I would advise on being curious
Thank you for that. So, what are some of your future aspirations? What's in the near future? What's long term for you? What-
Yeah, I wanna be rich. uh, so currently, like, I do not plan ያን ያህል ለረጅም ጊዜ የሆነ ከ10 ዓመት በኋላ ራሴን እንደዚህ ያለው ምናምን አትሊስት ማለት አቁሜያለሁ። I used to when I was doing music. So according to that plan, I would have currently won Grammy. So that didn't happen. So uh, hardly it's not plan ለአምስት ዓመት ለ10 ዓመት I don't know where life takes you. Again, like just my current ያለኝ plan is growing better. Uh, it's in a good pause, growth pause currently. በጣም ወዲያው የሚሄድ አይደለም ግን like በአሪፍ ፓዝ እየቀጠለ ነው ያለው። So just keep growing the project and keep like የፕሮጀክቱን ኮሚኒቲውን ማኔጅ ማድረግ ፕሮጀክቱን ማኔጅ ማድረግ and just try to see where this takes you. I'm also like have some opportunities in my hand through Better Auth that I can take. So I think like most of like my career wise future is our own Better Auth currently. So just keep looking for more opportunities and pursue the opportunities you have through Better Auth right now, so you can grow to whatever it is in the future. Uh, Again, I'm just a problem solver, and like in my mind, if I found like some kind of problem to be solved, uh, I'll keep like solving them. I mean, I think like then until now, like my career has been like in a good upright journey. So just keep on the like pause. Don't building on top of building on top of what you've built is gone. Yeah, so I like unfortunately like, I don't have grand plan. I don't think you should even have a grand plan because you don't know like where life takes you. Uh, but yeah, I mean still be ambitious, but currently I'm planning just Ethiopia maybe like alalkum.
Okay, okay. By the way, are you a competitive programmer? Do you do code
I'm not.
force?
I'm not. I probably suck at that. Like I haven't tried it, but I'm not.
Well, I think you would really like the problem part of it, like the puzzle aspect of code forces, I think.
No, I actually don't like you on a pointless on problem, which it just doesn't excite me.
But you'll learn
Sudan,
like DSA and like you'll gain the like puzzle skills አይነት ነገር.
if you guys are like looking lantern, like it's still I'm valuable to party, no, but learning is just like like what happens after I solve like on a complex on a problem. Nothing like I mean maybe I understand like something else like I can't even avail of cooling silver mark. So it's just for me if 50 pointers I mean it's still hard to solve without a drive demo it would be very hard. So at least I don't have any drive to solve competitive problem. But Konach, you can keep on that.
Yes, will do. So what do you recommend, Dahun, like as a summary for anyone who wants to go from music to becoming a software developer? What do you recommend the best path
Yeah,
is?
keep on doing music. Probably that's like you'll find enjoyment. Okay. Uh, so like just in general,
Yeah.
don't think just think in terms of projects. Like that's the biggest thing for me. So don't think try to do ambitious projects. That's one thing that I want to say. Just even when you think of projects, don't think you're on a small ነገር ለመስራት ይችን ነው የምሰራው ነው አጥሜ ይችን አትበሉ you can actually do like very big things. So የሆነ ፕሮጀክት የሆነ በትንሽ ሁኔታ ሶልቭ ለማድረግ ምናምን ነገር ሲሆን what if I impact በጣም ብዙ ነገር ምናምን ብላችሁ ማሰብ ጀምሩ. So in whatever problem, whatever space you are in, try to solve ambitious problems. You guys are young and you guys have like a lot of time. Um, maybe not because class ምናምን ነገር ግን ድሮፕ አውት እንዳታደርጉ እሺ ግን yeah, you have like a lot of time to actually የሆነ ፕሮብሌሞችን ለማየት ለመሞከር ሶሉሽኖችን እና ትልቅ ነገር ለማሰብ don't continue yourself like with የሆነ small problems የሆነ እኔ እኮ ያን ያህል ትልቅ ነገር መስራት የሆነ maybe I'm not the person ምናምን ትል ትችላላችሁ but maybe you are maybe you are the one who are supposed to solve that problem um, so think in terms of doing something ambitious እና ደግሞ I'm telling you like if you do something ambitious I just posted on channel like recently that there are many impressive people in the world like እንደምታስቡት አይደለም impressive ፒፕሎች አሉት they are ትንሽ impressive ሰው ነው ያለው እና ሌለ እና impressive one is like ባሮ ትንሽ ነው not like huge like it's not that an impressive ነገር like just as a problem solve ለማድረግ it's not huge I didn't like solve in quantum I may solve the quantum mechanics is a problem anyway again like it's not that hard to be impressive if you do something ambitious you'll be impressive and when you become impressive a lot of doors open for you so አሁን ቁጭ ብላችሁ እንዴት ነው ስራ ማገኘው እንዴት ነው ምንድነው አፕወርክ ላይ ምናምን ተወዳድሬ ምናምን like I mean if something is working for you go for that but don't try to crowded የሆነ ፕሌሶች ላይ የሆነ ራሳችሁን ሌላ እንትን ለማሞክሩ just leave the crowded place and try to be different try to solve like የሆነ problem እና ያን solve ስታደርጉት even like sometimes you may feel like you left out problem solve ለምሳሌ ይሰራ ለምሳሌ ምሰራ ምናምን ነገር የሆነ ታይም ስኩስ ምናምን ነገር there's also a feeling like የሆነ አእምሮዬ ላይ like ጓደኞቼ እኮ ጥሎኝ ሄደዋል የሆነ I'm also like still open for that so የሆነ ጓደኞቼን ሳይ ምናምን ነገር ሜቢ እኮ እነሱ ጥሎኝ ሄደዋል እንትና እኮ ከእኔ በጣም የተሻለ ስራ አለው በጣም ብዙ ብር ነው ኤርን የሚያደርገው ምናምን like የሚል ፊሊንግ አለ ግን my focus is like I'm gonna make this I don't care about የሆነ እዛ ጆይን አድርጎ ምናምን ነገር የሆነ because still it doesn't give me like any spiritual so all I cared about was just making this and making big things and impressive things and if you do that you can climb the ladder very fast so it took me 3 years to get to where I'm at now and even like the first year I was just making music more for most of the time so it was like literally 2 years to actually like build my internet now a little bit so I could be one example for you guys okay, I wasn't that smart I'm not that smart I'm not that ያን ያህል like ከልጅነቱ ጀምሮ like ያደገ ምናምን ነገር I wasn't that even like doing really good in school I dropped out so you can infer from that like I'm not that good at ትምህርት so I just was curious and I wanted to solve problems so if you actually do good projects you're gonna have a lot of opportunities for you so stop trying to chase የሆነ common impulse ነገሮችን በቃ እንደጨርሳችሁ አፕወርክ ገባላችሁ ምናምን እርሱት እና or like just keep on ነገር እና even like just leave upwork እና የሆነ እንዲወጣችሁን ስራ ትቀጠራላችሁ ምናምን even like forget that የሆነ የለም የሆነ ኮንቨርሶች maybe የሆነ በደንብ ዴሴ ካወቃችሁ I mean you should know ዴሴ I'm not against ዴሴ but like በቃ በደንብ ቁጭ ብላችሁ የብሊት ኮድን ስላወቃችሁ get a job ምናምን and like that's the path I'm gonna take I mean people's past change and some of you might find a good success in that but if it's like very crowded space it's very hard to like outshine so I'd say stop everything and just I'm gonna solve a problem and I'm gonna solve a big problem not even like small one not even you wanna finish like I'm gonna like start doing one like big things even if you can't make it happen still it will open a lot of doors for you I'm like almost 100% sure if you do something like you wanna project it's gonna open doors for you like it's gonna introduce you to people the people that you introduce you to maybe doing your job maybe not እንደሰባችሁ ሊሆን ይችላል እንዲሁ but it will still የሆነ ያህል ወደፊት ይገፋቸዋል so keep on building ambitious projects this is my last recommendation
And this is my last question. So,
yep.
if you had to summarize the last 3 years in one code of a line, what would you summarize it as?
That's right. it's wild.
You would type
Yeah,
print it's wild.
yeah, from that description for
No, that's a very good way to end this. Does anybody
yep.
from the group have any questions for Bereket? Okay. Uncle is asking, how long do you expect that Better Auth would take? Did you expect?
Yeah, I think like ስጀምረው ምን ያህል ጊዜ ይወስድብኛል ከሆነ like ጥያቄው I tried like thought like I'm gonna do it like within 3 weeks and I'm like you wanna it wasn't that serious. Like I had a Telegram channel now. So like post if I found better auth million on some NPM like I'm gonna start making auth library like this is crazy like no one's working on this one be post then I had something working after 3 weeks. But I was like, I'm not gonna like do this. I need to make this actually good. Kind of pointless. No, we can like my expectation was like it's just gonna take me probably 1 month or 2 months maximum. Because Loglib, because I was searching, but Loglib took me like 3 weeks or 1 month to actually like do it. So my assumption was like I'm gonna do it fast. But at this point, I had a job, so full time job. So, but it took me like 5 6 months to actually like finish it. And within that 5 6 months, I actually reload the library like fully 4 times. So Arati and the answer and the answer to. So that happened because like I just wanted something good. So initial expectation but I'm thinking better. Yeah, it actually took like a lot of time.
Remember, ፕሮጀክታችሁ እንዲሰራ 4 ጊዜ አጥፍታችሁ ስሩት። እሺ።
እንደዛ አይደለም መልእክቶች። Yep.
Always keep on trying, no matter what. ይሳካል በመጨረሻው።
Of course. በመጀመሪያው ይሳካል like if you actually try.
በመጀመሪያው
ይሳካል። Just
very
try.
lucky. Anyone else have any additional questions? Remember, this is your only opportunity before he becomes like a billionaire ማለት ነው።
Dang. I'm shaking up.
Okay, well, with that, we will wrap up today's session. Thank you so much, Bereket, for this. It was really fun.
Thank you. Same.
And we hope to meet you in the professional world one day.
Yeah, same. እናንተን የሚጨመርባቸው አስባለሁ. Keep on doing what you guys are doing and thank you for inviting me again. መልካም ምሽት.
መልካም ምሽት.
Bye.
Bye.